sometimes kids are making a color and they absolutely hate it. No big deal. All you need to do is wash your brush and start again, okay? When I teach, I actually taught, a kindergartner did say this to me. He wanted to mix a color. He's like, so I'm gonna put green on my brush and put it on my canvas, and then I'm gonna put yellow on my brush and I'm gonna mix it on my canvas. And I was like, oh, that's genius. So have you guys, when you're painting, you can mix on your plate, but you can also use your canvas as a place to mix, okay? We're gonna be painting our backgrounds any color that you want. I did this one here to represent like the gifts of the Holy Spirit. Each color kind of represented a gift. This background right here is just purple because I really like purple. This background right here is kind of like a sunset. So what I'm gonna want you to do is I want you to start with, I'm gonna back up. I don't use any technical terms. I will say load your brush, and that means get paint through your brush. But some of you I've painted with before. I don't know if you remember, I do have one rule. I have a couple of faces I know have painted with me. And that's that you're super sweet to yourself. So when I work with kids, sometimes kids get nervous and are kind of a little bit not sure of themselves. And a reaction that kids have when they're unsure of themselves is to start making fun of themselves. They're like, oh, my painting is awful, I hate it. Doesn't look like, it's not beautiful. And then they get really hard on themselves. So my rule is that you have to be calm and you have to be patient with yourself. And actually the reason why we're here is we're here to play with color, and we're also here to spend time with one another and reflect just a little bit. So no making fun of each other or yourself. I'm sorry, you can't make fun of me if you want, Mrs. Henningsen. But if you make fun of yourself, I'll come stand right by. Remember how I do this? I'll come and I'll stand right next to you. I'll be like, okay, that's enough of that. So, deal, you guys? Show me you understand by nodding. Be patient with yourself and kind to yourself. And if you feel like making fun of someone, who's it supposed to be? Me. You can make fun of me. Yeah, I don't care. So now is when I want for you to start looking at your colors and thinking about colors. This is your background. I'm going to use my giant brush. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let the brush really do some work. So I press down with my paint and I pull back up. I'm going to do a little bit of green, and then I'm going to transition into yellow. Put my brush right in the yellow, and then I'm going to move all the way around my canvas. I want this to be beautiful on the sides, tops and bottoms, so we're going to cover the whole canvas. Do you guys want to dive in? Yes. Find your giant brush for me. Wait, so background first? Backgrounds first. Yes.
Alright, then you like that. I want to do like a I'm doing that. Yeah, that's I want to do like the dove one. I want to do the dove, but I don't know how to do that. Well, I don't want to do the dove like the background. But I want to do the dove. I want to do like the background. Yeah. You ready? I'm gonna go on my shirt. Wait, can I sit in this chair? I want to be on your story. Come sit in this chair so I can have like plain notes. I'll do it. Okay. I'll do it when you start.
When you run out of a color, all you need to do is put your hand up and I'll come grab your plate and add color to it. I do have a few helpers around. Helpers, would you guys mind helping me get paint? Do you mind? Okay. And then I have one more other thing I kind of didn't mention. We're using acrylic paints, and acrylic paints are good layer on layer. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to start really basic and lay a foundation. So we're going to actually use this background color to be our foundation. It's kind of the base. And then we're going to let that dry and we're going to add to it. And so you have to be patient, take it step by step. Okay, now I'm done talking.
It's going to be really bad?
Will, don't film me. Oh, don't film me. Don't film me.
Wait, do we like mix this?
Are you doing one of the pictures up there?
I'm doing like the one with the heart, but not the heart. I'm not doing that. No, I told you to do this one.
I told you.
I told you. I don't know.
So you could pull in a little yellow and white and start yellow, kind of remove it down.
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm really creative.
What do you think for color, hon?
I don't know. Pink. You can't look. Oh, let me see yours.
Green.
Yeah, mine is really good.
Ava, look, mine's gonna cry.
Yep.
Oh, you guys smart.
Ellie. Go, Ellie.
Why is he crying?
I don't know.
I think it's that color. That's gorgeous.
My paint screwed up.
Just getting started.
And it sucks.
Don't do that. Don't be here.
Trying to think about my room. I know, I said I don't like these ones. I'm just doing rainbow.
Painters, I have a few of you that are doing blending, so what I want you to remember is I have green on my brush. I didn't even clean my brush at all. I'm going to go back up into the green with the yellow, and then I start pulling it down, and so you can see how it kind of blends. It's pulling a little bit of the green, and then I can go ahead and then switch right to green. So that blending, I kind of head back, and then I keep pulling all the way around. You guys are doing a really nice job with that. If you feel like switching colors and you don't want it to blend, then you give your brush a little bath. That's pretty.
Uh-oh.
How you guys doing?
How come yours is gorgeous? Mine has more colors than yours.
Yeah.
That's mean. We can't judge you. No judge. Oh yeah, Fee, you'll be on Choco next week for sure.
My arm hurts.
She was saying that I paint the sides too. The sides too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Just take all that color right out.
Bring me down.
What? Again, mine's better.
Oh my god, again! Oh, that was good. You did it again! What do you mean, do I just wrote the word no.
You can paint the sides and top too. Just bring it all right out there.
No. The side of your canvas, so you're going to wrap your color around the side, please.
When it dries, it's when I try to do something. Mine's orange and yellow.
Mine's red.
I like fall. So you might wait till that dries. But that's gorgeous too. Well, Isaac is like
What color goes? Sure.
Why not? Oh, shoot, it's smearing. I don't get her.
What the heck?
You're banned.
I've heard a lot about the Christian Minecraft. No?
I mean, some people probably hate it. Just
I don't know. Let's go. From now on, when I just want for you to listen to me, I'm going to say, can I have your ears? And that means you can keep painting, but I just want you to give me like a few seconds to give you some instructions. First of all, you guys are doing a really nice job. I don't like the microphone, but I want to show you something. Your bristles really need to get some work done. So when you are painting, you're going to press your bristles down and then pull back, almost like they're working. So if you're feeling like your arm's getting tired, you need to be pressing down a little bit more and pulling up so that you have little brush strokes going on your canvas. So sometimes kids keep their wrist really, really stiff when they paint. And what I want you to do is a little bit more pressing down with your brush and then pulling. So try doing that, and you'll be really happy with it. It'll give you some pretty brush strokes. If you're feeling like the front of your canvas is covered, I want for you to touch up the sides, the top, and the bottom. Before you put on your cross, I want for you to give your giant brush, while you're waiting for it to dry, a bath in the water. If you'd squish it like 7 or 8 times, and then you can keep it in the water. Then I want for you to kind of start thinking about what kind of cross you'd like to have. If you want to have something that looks like one of the samples, a cross that is just on the canvas and it ends. This cross goes all the way off each of the sides. You could have a cross that was a little bit more rounded on the edges, which is absolutely fine. I had some kids make them even scallopy on the edges. This one right down here, I see a couple of you were kind of doing something like this, where you would have just a few small crosses, and that works. So while you're waiting for it to dry, you can start thinking about what kind of cross you'd like to put on your canvas. And as you work.
Okay, I'm done.
Line. I'm going to put this medium brush in the brown and the black. And I'm going to show you how to make a cross that does not go off the sides. What I do is I am going to find the middle of the canvas and I'm just going to make a little teeny tiny, not parentheses, like a nice kind of little curved line. And then what I do is I pull down on each side towards the middle. And then I do that same thing on the sides. I kind of decide how far I want it. And then I pull towards the middle. And I'm going to do the same thing on the inside. And then I come down to the bottom and I decide where I want it to end. I'm making kind of like a little curve. And then I just connect it. Did you guys see me get out a ruler? Yeah. I didn't get out a ruler. And I also didn't worry about it not being perfect by any, this isn't going to be something that is very precise. It's actually going to be something that you're just going to kind of eyeball. So what I did to make my cross is I found my top, my sides, and the bottom, and then I kind of just connected the lines, and I'm not worrying about it being perfectly straight. If you wanted to go all the way off the edge, that's way easier, because you can just zoop all the way up and all the way across. Right now, what I want for you to do is before you start putting your cross on, will you wait for the back to be dry? Deal? Yep? Okay. You can keep going.
Put a white cross. Just put a white cross.
Can I help?
This yellow part is dry.
Could I get another paper towel?
It just crumbled.
Put a black cross. Write it in white.
What was his quote? What did he just say?
Oh, I just needed more red.
I'm gonna write.
What? The paper quote?
Yeah. White or not? You gotta get that paper. I'm waiting for my yellow.
Do we have to do a cross?
First of all,
cross?
you don't have to do anything.
Oh, do we have to do a cross though? Okay.
Do you want to do
A quote?
a quote?
Yeah, just a quote.
All lives matter.
Do I still paint on my
If you get that, let's use this one. You get that. Still.
I was going to say green originals.
It looks good.
Can you describe where your cross is?
It's a big cross in the distance.
Distance?
Yeah. These would be
Is that
closer.
Mars or,
I think it's in a volcano. What quote are you doing? Me?
You're doing great.
cross tree? Yes. Tree cross? Cross tree?
You only need a little bit, like a squirt more black, like right there.
Sure.
Do you like this? I like your dress.
Yeah.
Did you ask me?
No, I didn't see it.
No.
Oh, it's not done yet. I have to outline the inside of the end.
Yo.
And then the exclamation point.
Are you going to give this to your mother?
No, I'm gonna hold it up whenever she asks me to do something.
Can you do your chores? I don't know.
Nope.
No. Is that your final answer?
Let me check this out.
Is that your final answer? I'm sure you have to what says yes. No.
I can't, but
Gosh dang it. There's a flaw in my plan.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Sometimes the black doesn't cover with that first coat, so you put one coat on and let it dry and then put another coat.
Community painting. Gentlemen, how are you?
Community painting?
I'm doing it right.
Turn into abstract.
It's like a Picasso. What does it mean?
While you're letting food to dry
I don't know.
on your sides, do you want to leave it?
I'm just making a bunch of circles.
It's very modern,
Yeah.
abstract.
It's a commitment.
I like the bolts in there.
What?
How far down?
I stalled in the bathroom or into the kitchen. I want you to clean all your brushes, and I'll get you more pieces. Does that sound good?
Start cleaning the paper plate.
I don't want to clear you wrong. Right. Right.
I don't
You. Christian, can I borrow that brush? The brush right there. Not the other one.
Around. I've got a couple kids that are already doing that. If you pull the cross on the side and the top and the bottom. I also have some kids that are not knowing where to start their cross and end it. And when I need to make that decision, I'll put a little dot where I want it to start, and then I'll draw my line, and I'll put a dot where I want it to end. I do want for you to know that the sides always need, or it would be nice to put a little paint on it so the sides feel beautiful as well. So if you forgot your sides, you could go back and put a little paint on it. Okay, keep going, you're doing great.
Oh my gosh. No. Was he just
I
filming?
didn't even put your face on that.
I did too. I'm gonna make sure your mom watches this. My heart. Yeah, she's looking for it.
Like no sugar, just straight up hot coffee, no ice.
I was like, I thought something was coming down from the ceiling. Like, what's coming from the ceiling?
Read us to each child that is.
Did you steal my? Oh, I stole it. And your mom's gave it.
I'm going to share it at It's nature.
He's the one who's been spectating him for having a gambling problem.
Water.
Just the green. A lot.
11 minutes.
Ta-da!
Oh, who's better, LeBron or Embiid?
In my class.
LeBron, so you got good
Yeah.
shoes.
Water, roots, trees.
Jordan had better shoes.
Yeah, Jordan has better. I think
Like,
okay,
where
Jordan,
the trees
Curry,
are.
Durant, or LeBron.
Painting, but I need for you to listen for just a few minutes. I have some of you that are kind of getting to a point where you're feeling like you're ready to wrap up. I want for you to sign your work. You could put your initials on the front. I put JH for Jenny Henningsen. You could flip it over and you could put your initials on the back. Some people like to put the date on the back. Then there's a couple things I'd like for you to do. I need for your brushes to go into your water, and if you'd squish them like 7 times, that would be very helpful. And then I'd love for you to have a chance to see other people's artwork. So when you're feeling finished, you're going to put your brushes in your water, and then you can take a little time to look at other people's art. Mr. H, their paintings can stay here. No, they can go.
They can keep them or they can donate them to the youth room. They can stay here.
Okay. Painters, I need just about 15 more seconds. Your paintings can actually go home with you.
Hey guys, listen up.
Thank you. They would make, they're absolutely lovely. So I would, if you want to keep it, you're welcome to. You can also donate it to the youth room if you'd like it to stay here. Okay?
Just leave them on the easel if you're gonna donate it, right?
Yes.
But we'd love for you to take them
I'd
home.
love you to take them home.
But we really don't want them.
No, we'll take them and we'll hang them up.
In the trash.
But we want you to feel good about yourselves.
What's the frou-frou on Tanya's?
I need some red berries.